Hi, it's been a while. So about 8 months ago I went and started this YouTube channel specifically for this reason, to showcase the process of me learning Unreal Engine and creating my first ever game, Paper Red in the Spirit Sync. However, we're 18 months in and I don't really have anything. But don't worry, it's actually for a good reason, kind of. So when I started learning Unreal Engine, it was on a very old PC, way back from 2016, and unfortunately, the PC just couldn't handle Unreal Engine. It couldn't handle all the extras that came with it, and whenever I was going on to learn something, it was just a slow, difficult process, and honestly, it just demotivated me to no end. Luckily, I have forked out and got a brand new PC that can run Unreal Engine and everything that comes with it, even on the nicest difficulties. So, going forward, every Friday there's going to be a new Unreal Engine themed video coming out where it showcases the creative process of me making my game and also learning Unreal Engine. This is the list of things each Friday will kind of be tackling. Obviously we're going to be starting with Red first. Now I don't have a ton of Red's new animations ready because behind the scenes Seathos has just got the newest program or software, I don't know what the terminology is, which we think is going to be the best way to animate and rig Red. So I'm very excited about that. So I do have his new design but slightly older animations, but that's fine because the way it works with Paper ZD, we can flip that. Pentax has also been hard at work. You might have recently seen the new video showcasing all the characters, new designs and stuff like that. If you haven't, check that out because it's actually pretty cool seeing where they started and where they are now. And he's moved on to some new characters which we'll show later down the line. But the good news is things have been moving while I've been dealing with PC issues. We haven't just completely stopped. Everyone, I guess apart from me, has been hard at work doing things, which is, you know, thank you to them so much. Let's get actually into the video. Now you might have noticed that we're remaking Red again in Unreal Engine. We did that like 5 months ago in a video. You can check out that video somewhere. I think I've offered like 8 different videos by now. But the reason why is everything was lost on the old PC. When I got a new PC, I don't know PCs, man, honestly, it's a nightmare. I'm learning everything, and everything that I worked on previously is just gone. So we're starting from the start, but you know, blessing in disguise because I think this is the perfect time. I'm feeling motivated, I'm feeling ready to learn, and everyone else is also ready to go. So here we are. Well, enough of this intro. Let's get to me learning Unreal Engine. Enjoy my confused face a lot because you'll be seeing it a lot every single Friday going forward. Bye for now. Okay, so I've done something very similar to this before. In fact, 5 months ago when I basically did the same video. I'm sorry that I'm repeating this, but you know, I'm rusty. I went and did the Cobra Code's 2D side-scroller tutorial, and that basically got me through it. Now, obviously we had to go through the flipbook and stuff, and that's primarily how the entire game is going to be animated. The flipbook is pretty fantastic. It basically just, each sprite, it just goes between and then it loops around to make a complete whole animation. One of the really good things about Unreal Engine Blueprints is it's very, very similar to how Dreams works. Now it works basically on a node based system where you're basically plugging in, if this thing is true, it plugs into then this will happen, and if this thing is not true, it'll plug into this thing that doesn't happen, and that's pretty much how Dreams works. So in essence, in some ways, I do have about 4 years experience with Blueprints, kind of. Now obviously on Dreams it's a lot more colourful and fun, so it's quite difficult going from that to, I mean, grey boxes with grey boxes, but obviously this is a professional program, whereas Dreams was kind of created as a hobbyist type thing. Did find myself at the start of this being quite overwhelmed once again, because obviously I'm coming into it fresh again, so looking at everything I was kind of like, oh god, how am I going to learn all this like again? But you know, practice makes perfect, and the more I did it, the more I started to kind of understand the system of it and how everything worked. Really, it's just kind of understanding what has to plug into what to make things work, and once you really get that down, the whole process actually becomes quite easy. If you're put off by Unreal Engine, but you did Dreams, you'll actually know more than you think you do, or at least you'll pick it up quicker than if you were coming into this without ever having played Dreams or used Dreams in a creative fashion. So this is where it finally starts to get interesting. We're starting to basically swap out that little fox's animations from the Cobra Code tutorial with some of Red's basic animations. Now we only have the idle and the run, but looking at it and putting it into 30 FPS into Unreal Engine was really cool. It was cool to actually see him move and stuff like that. Now we have done this before. If you looked at the video about 5 months ago, you'll notice that we did that with Red. However, this is the finalised model, and while the animation is not finalised, how he looks is how he'll be in the actual game. So it was really exciting seeing him be able to kind of run back and forward. Obviously we had to change certain things because when we swapped him in for the fox, Red is like 6 times the size. So you'll see here that he's like gigantic. Also when he jumps, he reverts back to the fox's flipbook, and that's simply because we don't have a jump for Red right now. But basically I just wanted a very basic premise of Red in the Unreal Engine, so that, you know, we could start adding in other stuff. Because for me, a lot of people who do this sort of stuff professionally and who've been doing it professionally, they can work with little grey cubes pretending to be the characters that they need them to be. For me, I find that so difficult. It's very unmotivating and mentally, I guess, also unmotivating when I can't see my character move when I'm trying to animate what should be the character. So I just wanted a basic version of Red so that I could get him in, and obviously we have to adjust the camera and stuff like that. And I'm also having fun with the fact that he jumps, when he jumps he turns back into the fox, which I thought was funny. Now something that's pretty cool is Cethos he got Moho. That was the program that we were trying to get for him, and that's what we realised is going to be Red's final, or every character, that's how they're going to be animated. And then I believe they get moved into either Illustrator or After Effects. I think it's After Effects, where they'll get the kind of white border around them. Now a lot of people for Paper Mario don't really like the white border, at least for the newer versions, and that's probably because people grew up with 64 and then 1000 Year Door. For Red, and because of the aesthetic of the world and stuff, I really think the white border is the best way to go. I think it looks really good and it really makes them pop. So now that I've got Red working both side to side, I decided to watch another one of the tutorials to figure out how to actually move them forwards and back. Luckily, it was super easy. It's literally just a case of having the inputs. I think Dreams, I know I said that because of Dreams I was able to kind of understand blueprints a lot easier, but I think an issue is that Dreams has almost spoiled anyone who's trying to do game development, because it's made it so easy and so accessible to make a character be able to move around and do what you want, that you don't think of all the kind of code that went into making that happen behind the scenes. All you're seeing is you click a button and suddenly the character can move this way, you click a button and suddenly he's stuck in a 2D plane and it works perfectly. Whereas obviously with Unreal Engine, nothing's made up for you. Now I'm sure you can download packs that, you know, come with predetermined things, which is great, but for me, who doesn't really know how to do any of that, I have to make everything from scratch. And I definitely noticed that Dreams does pamper you in a lot of small aspects that you don't quite realise that you've been pampered in until you start trying to make it yourself. But, I mean, as you can see, Red now walks back and forward, which is fantastic. We basically have... He also has a shadow, which is cool. So, thankfully, now, really I can just move on to the next thing. I've got a super basic version of Red. Obviously, I'll need to get a jump at some point, but again, that's not the biggest deal. I just wanted a Red that is able to move back and forward and jump in the most basic manner. And you know, that's what we've got. So I'm going to be starting streaming Unreal Engine on this channel just to kind of help learn it. I feel like sometimes I do better when I'm almost being watched, if that makes sense. It's almost like a motivation to do better, versus when it's really up to myself. I can come up with like 8 different excuses why I'll just do this tomorrow, but if I'm streaming, it's like, oh, people are watching, I have to buckle down. It's kind of like a weird I need a teacher mentality, which is not good, but hey, if you've got shortcomings, you've got to find solutions for those shortcomings, and unfortunately that's one of mine. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're someone that wants to learn Unreal Engine, honestly, Blueprints does make it so much more accessible. If you just can't get to grasps with coding, I wholeheartedly suggest just using Blueprints. And like, it's 2 examples of games that completely were made with Blueprints. You know that Choo Choo Charles horror game with the train? That's all Blueprints. And Born of Bread, which is a Paper Mario style game, completely made in Blueprints. So people have done it and succeeded from it. So, you know, definitely give it a try. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Friday for the next Unreal Engine, and Wednesday for the next Red Talks, and Sunday for the next Village U. Until then, bye!